Hey everybody, I'm here with Michael Leech, Assistant Director of Public Works and Engineering for the City of Baytown. And we're here talking about one of the big projects that's underway right now, the Garth Widening Project.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff for us. This project's been in the works for some time, you know. A project this big that'll ultimately run from I-10 all the way down to, nearly 146. That takes a while to put together. You have to package the funding together. It's a comprehensive design package. You have to do a lot of outreach to the community. So a lot of work's gone into it to even get to this point.
And while a lot of people are just seeing the work now, yeah, that work has been taking place for quite a while.
Indeed,
yeah.
Indeed, yes. One thing that's been terrific is the city leadership has directed staff to go seek alternate funding sources for this project. And a lot of projects that the City of Baytown does that are on the large scale, the benefit of that is that it keeps direct impacts from affecting the Baytown taxpayer. In other words, we're able to get federal and state funding to take care of a lot of the expenses associated with this project. And a project of this magnitude, of this distance, of this scale, costs in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
So the financial burden is low, which makes everybody happy.
A lot of value for the Baytown community, absolutely.
So talk about what's taking place right now. We don't have crews out here right this second behind us, but we have the cones and they're out here daily out here. But explain what's happening, taking place right now.
So ultimately, this road will be widened. Now widened to allow for a series of things: aesthetic enhancements, mobility enhancements, as well as drainage enhancements, which are nice. But to widen the roadway, you have to get what's underneath the roadway out of the way. So what we have underneath the roadway are a variety of utilities. We have utilities such as the cable company, fiber optic service providers. We have even city utilities, water and wastewater, and storm sewer. So what's going on now is we're working with contractors and vendors to get their infrastructure out of the way so that we can begin the construction of the reconstruction of the new roadway.
Okay, so that the movement of the lines is an important thing, but that's the part that's taking place right now. Some minimal congestion and some lane closures here and there, but nothing major, because that's going to happen when we actually start widening the road.
Agreed. We were very deliberate throughout the design process of this first phase. We wanted to be very careful about minimizing the impacts to the traveling public. So what you'll see as you head up Garth Road is primarily on the north side, beginning north of Archer and heading towards I-10. That's where the construction is going to begin. The way we've designed it is that it'll only require periodic single lane closure, and they'll likely be towards the east side of the roadway. So again, we worked with our designers to try to sequence the work in a manner that will be at the least impactful to the motoring public. Also, we're going to do our best to keep the contractors off the road during peak hours. So the less impactful we are in that way, the less headaches from a congestion perspective we hope the community experiences.
And again, it was designed to hit the most congested part first. Throughout the design, it hit the most congested first, and then move along as you go through the project.
Yeah, that's correct. We're trying to get the pain points out of the way first and sort of transition to some of the less invasive parts as we progress.
Okay. So when does the line utility movement, when is that expected to be finished, and when will crews start, or when will people start seeing crews actually widening the road?
Well, we just kicked off the utility relocation portion, and that's anticipated to take between 6 months and 9 months. So we're hoping that portion wraps up. But you know how construction is. Something will inevitably come up.
Right.
But that's what we're scheduled to be. And thus far, we have a good contractor, a good partner on board, so we're feeling good about it. Thereafter, we have to go publicly bid this work, coordinate with our funding partners to get that lined up. So we anticipate a year and a half from now, we'll get the roadway portion under construction going.
And unfortunately, that will probably likely cause the most headaches, because it's going to take quite some time. You know, about what, 3 years to do the widening portion?
A little less than 3, but yes, it's a pretty good stretch of roadway if you think about it, from Archer to I-10. So it will take a good bit of time. One thing we are still working with on that design for the roadway improvements is how we're going to manage the traffic through. It's our intent to keep as many lanes open as possible. What you'll never see on Garth Road here, even when it's under construction, is one lane heading in either direction. We hope to have at least 2 lanes open. They may be shifted, they may look a little different than they do now, but we're hoping to have the same amount of traffic volumetric throughput as we have now. It'll be challenging, and maybe there'll be off-peak periods, so something like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday when it's not that hectic, relatively speaking. We all know Garth is always busy.
Right.
But try to make those pain points at the off-peak times.
Yeah.
So we're working to, again, consistent with the utility project, keep the traffic congestion minimized, and we're working deliberately with our designers to do that.
Pack your patience, but know the city is trying to minimize frustrations as much as possible.
Indeed, I wish I could tell everyone out there that this is going to not be a headache, but that wouldn't be transparent. You know, all construction has a headache associated with it, but we believe at the end of the day it'll be worth it.
Yeah, and once it's done, it's going to look amazing.
Oh, it's going to be terrific. Lots of aesthetic enhancements, new traffic signals, new street lighting, green spaces along the sides. It's going to be, and in the medians, of course, with landscaping. It's going to be a terrific corridor. It also ties a bit to economic development, right? I mean, studies have shown, and everybody's seen it, when a community like Baytown has a leadership we do, and they elect to invest in a piece of roadway infrastructure like this, with not only the physical enhancements of the improved drainage infrastructure, which helps flooding, the traffic infrastructure, which helps mobility, but also the aesthetic infrastructure, it'll draw new businesses in.
Sure.
It'll bring you, more opportunities for economic development, which eases the tax burden on the taxpayer.
But the time is now. It's going to look great when it's over.
The time is now. I mean, some folks perhaps are driving up Garth Road going, oh, there's not a whole heck of a lot wrong with this roadway. But, this is one of those classic cases of you don't want to replace your air conditioner like at your house, for example, on the day it breaks. You want to replace it in advance of it breaking. You want to have that plan so it's affordable. And that's what we're trying to do here. Get out in front of Garth Road in terms of the reconstruction prior to its complete deterioration. Because every roadway, just like every piece of infrastructure, has a finite life.
For sure.
So this is one of those things where good leadership has allowed us to get out in front of this and take advantage of some good economic opportunities with our partners to make an improvement to the community.
So let's step away from Garth for a second, because you are the man when it comes to capital improvement projects. Talk about a lot of the big projects that we have going on, some of the ones that are nearing completion, like the public safety building, for example.
Boy, what a showpiece that's going to be for the community and the region, in fact. The public safety building is it's going to be a really lovely facility for both our police and fire. Speaking of fire, they just drove by.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really terrific facility for them, state-of-the-art, and I really mean that, state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be something the community can rally around and be extremely proud of. So it's wonderful that our leadership was able to allow us to partner with police and fire and build something this fantastic. It's really going to be a terrific project. So that's one that's really sort of in front of the community, but some things you may not think of, or the viewers may not think of. One thing we're really proud of as public works professionals is that you can go to your faucet every morning and get a nice cup of clean, potable, safe water. We want you not to even have to think about that stuff. So we take pride, and you go to your faucet and guaranteed it's safe to drink every single time. Also with your wastewater, that would be the stuff that goes through your laundry machine, right? Your washing machine, I should say, your sink, toilets, all that stuff. We want you to not ever have to think about that. We want to have a dead reliable system in place for you. But again, not unlike Garth Road, that takes strategic maintenance and strategic investment in that type of infrastructure. So you'll see there are a variety of subdivisions throughout the community that we're working within to replace aged water and wastewater infrastructure. Baytown's about 75 years old, right? Yeah. And there are areas of Baytown that, it's my understanding, were formed to create Baytown. So those were in existence prior to that. So you have some infrastructure that may be, in fact, 75 years old or more. So that's sort of the stuff that it becomes less reliable through time. So we're trying to strategically work to replace that stuff and get good value as we do it.
So for the less attractive to the more attractive, we got a lot of projects going on.
There's quite a few, but we have a good team at the Public Works Department, and our leadership continues to support us, so we're in a really good place to make a big difference in the community and hopefully provide a nice level of service for everybody.
All right. Mike, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And for
Pleasure.
more information on any of these projects, especially Garth Road, go to baytown.org.